All right, let's try it again. Raising the Ring, episode 10, featuring 2024 Olympian Jennifer Lozano out of Laredo, Texas. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's work this time. Let's work this time. How we looking,
Okay,
Jennifer?
yes. There we go. Y'all look clear as day right there.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. A little technical difficulties, but we got it all. We got it all straight. Hey, Jennifer. So you started boxing at the age of 10, from my understanding. And
Yeah.
you got into boxing because you were being bullied?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So growing up, in my city, I grew up very overweight, and with an accent. My first language is Spanish, so I had an accent. I used to get bullied for it, and I used to get bullied because of my weight. So I used to fight a lot in the street on my way home and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of defend myself. And so I just joined a gym in the south side close to my house. I'd never really told my parents why I wanted to join, because just because of our culture, the Mexican culture, like you
Yeah,
kind of never
facts.
show weakness and stuff like that. So I just, I hit that. I was just like, you know what, just for physical fitness, for my health, like I just wanted to go work out. And so as soon as I joined the gym, they had me shadow boxing for like hours on end and for like the first few weeks, and I fell in love with the simple fundamentals of just shadow boxing and knowing like, dang, like this is a hook, this is a jab, this is a two, this is an uppercut, like I can defend myself.
Right.
And then as time went by, like I started losing weight, and I would see all these boys come in with medals and belts and all this stuff. And so I said, like, dang, like I want one, like why can't I get
Right.
one? So I told my mom I wanted to compete. And my mom, be my mom, I'm the youngest in my family, so she was like, man, she's gonna get hit, she's gonna get out of it, like whatever.
Uh-huh.
So we ended up talking to the coach, and the coach immediately said no, because I was a girl, and girls can't box and stuff like that, just because of the culture and the mindset at that time.
No.
Um, Being that there wasn't females who boxed or did any combat sports at that time and stuff like that, and because of the culture as well, um, that just wasn't known. So, you know, I was about 9 years old at that time, and my mom was just like, okay, you just wait and watch, like, don't worry about it. So we got out, and I was in other sports for my health. I was in basket, soccer, track, all these other sports, and I was really good. But my mom noticed, like, dang, like, she's not really happy there. Like, she's
Right.
good, she has all these opportunities, but she's not really happy. So she found this other boxing gym kind of like in the center of Laredo, which is still the boxing gym that I reside in today.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was the only female in the teenage classes that I was in uh, at that time. And so immediately after like a month or two, the boys didn't want to get in there with me no more. So I had no more sparring partners, and my coach actually had a couple females already like on his team. So I ended up sparring them, and I stood toe to toe with them, and they were older, heavier, with like 30 plus fights and stuff like that, and I had nothing. So he was really impressed by that, and he was like, this girl can fight.
Yeah.
So she ended up, I mean, I'm sorry, my coach ended up, asking me if I wanted to fight and be a part of his competing team. And I immediately jumped on it, and I said, yeah. And I had just turned about 10, 11 at that time.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Like you just went there to defend yourself and end up becoming your dream. And
Yeah.
you end up becoming an Olympian. That's
Yeah.
huge. I gotta keep putting emphasis on that for all the young kids that's watching and my daughter, just everyone. Like you're an Olympian. Like you're gonna go down in history. You don't have to do anything else going forward. You'll be in history being an Olympian and being the first Olympian from Laredo, Texas. You know what I mean? So that's definitely something that's gonna go down in the history books. You know, you've been in there with everyone. You've been in there with world flyweight champion Gabriela Fondor. A lot of people don't know that. You've
Yeah.
been in there with Wu Yu, uh, Olympic gold medalist from China, who can box on the left, who can box on the right, who can punch from this way, punch from that way. You've been in there with everybody. Kayla Gomez, everybody. You've been in there with everybody. Do you think that shaped you to be an Olympian?
Um, Not necessarily who I was in there with, if not my story. Like it's like where I come from and stuff like that. Cause I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like Laredo is a very small town. It's getting bigger. Don't get me wrong. Like now it's a lot bigger than when I was a kid. But I never knew what the Olympics were. Like you don't talk about the Olympics. You know, like growing up in the South Side, like you had, you know, we had struggles. Like me and my family just struggle a lot and stuff like that. So we weren't into like the Olympics or anything like that. That just wasn't talked about. And I never found out about the Olympics till 2012 when females actually were allowed to go to the Olympics. That's when I realized, like, oh snap, like, what are the Olympics? And I remember being at weigh-ins, and I think it was Marlene from Houston who was competing, and I was at nationals and Dallas, and everybody was like, Marlene, like she's about to fight, like oh my gosh, she you know she's in the middle rounds and da da da. And so I was like, who's Marlene and what are the Olympics? And everybody looked
Yeah.
at me and was like, are you crazy? Like, you don't know what the Olympics are? And I was like, nah, like, what is that? So, you know,
Right.
they just told me, like, only the greatest of the greatest go there. Like, you know, it's hard to get there. Like, not just anybody goes. Like, that's, like, the best athletes in the world that go. Like,
Right.
it's not an easy shot to get there. So, and I was like, well, I've won a lot of fights. You know, I've gotten a couple national titles already. Like, I want to be, like, I know I'm good, but I want to prove that I'm great. Like, you
Right.
know, so I want to, what do I have to do to get there? And so we didn't know the steps. I just figured, like, just win, 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 you know. And I
Yep.
fought in different weight classes, you know, throughout my career and stuff like that. And so finally, like, with God's timing and stuff like that, like, you know, I joined the team, and from the team I took, you know, a lot of upset and a lot of losses, but with that came a lot of experience and learning. And you know, when the time was right and God's timing was right, that's when I qualified, and that's when I went to the Olympics.
That's what's up. So, all right. So the USA Championships of 2022, you won that tournament. Is that what put you on the team to compete in the Pan American Games?
Was it 22? Yeah. So 22, I won nationals. I had to go to selection, still prove, you know, that I was the best, you know, in front of all these coaches and stuff like that for
Yep.
about a month and a half. Then once I was selected, we had to go. That was basically preparation for the Pan Ams, yes. But
Yep.
in order to get there, you had to like, you know, get all these experience. Like you had to go through world championships. You had to go through like small
Yep.
tournaments and fight a lot of other international tournaments around the world. And you know, I was the youngest of the team at that time, and so it was hard, you know.
Of course.
And I took a lot of losses, I took a lot of close fights and stuff like that, and like, you know, it tested me, to see if how bad I really wanted it, you know. And that's the way it took, and I just decided to trust my ability, my hard work, and God's timing, that you know what, everything happens for a reason. Like it, like I need to learn from this. I need to get back up, because if I don't get back up, what am I showing everybody back at home? Everybody who has
Yep.
that same dream, like what am I showing them if I stop now? So you know, I didn't stop, and I kept getting hungrier and hungrier, and I kept getting back in the gym as soon as, you know, we would come back from other countries. Instead of resting, no, I was working and working and working and working, trying to perfect my craft, trying to perfect the small things and everything. And I became obsessed. And so with obsession came greatness, and from greatness, you know, I ended up qualifying in style and in front of my family, in front of my mother. And that meant everything to me, especially when, as soon as I gave her that golden ticket, which was my road to Paris, that meant everything to me.
You took my question. I was going to say, how was it to get out of the ring and walk to your mom, hug your mom, and she's congratulating you, and you give her that golden ticket?
At that moment, you know, filled with tears, adrenaline, everything that had just happened, I couldn't believe it. But I gave her that ticket, and I specifically told her, like in Spanish, but I told her, like, this is why I had to sacrifice what I sacrificed. This is why I had to do what I did, what I do. This is why I had to be out away from home so many months. This is why, like, I cried all these times. This is why I couldn't see you. I couldn't celebrate your birthday. I had to miss out on so many family emergencies. I couldn't help the family. I couldn't be there. You know, this is why I was so tired. This is why I was on the other side of the country, you know, competing and fighting and taking all these losses and just being so frustrated with everything, and just becoming obsessed with like watching fights and fights and fights and fights over and over and over again. This is why. This is exactly why I
Yeah,
went through all that. This is why. And so she kind of got an understanding, like, wow, like,
that's
okay, because I'm the first boxer from my family as well. So for them to kind of like really understand why, like, I just get hit in the face. That's all they know. I just get hit, you know, and I hit people. So it's just kind of
Right.
like why do you do it?
Right.
But so that
Right.
ticket basically put everything together.
Right. This is what I tell Baby Top. This is what I tell her. I'm like, you gotta want this better than you want to breathe. Like, it's easy for these kids. I go to the nationals, and I hear these kids. Oh man, I want to do this. I want to do this, and I'm looking at them like, you just don't know the half of it. Like, it takes a lot of dedication. A lot of dedication. You know, being away from your family. The first time I ever went to the United States Training Center was in 2009, and I was so excited to get there. But then I can never forget, I walked up those long steps all the way at the top. And then I got in my room. There was nothing in my room but a TV and the two beds, bed over here, bed over there. And I sat down like, I miss home. It takes a lot of dedication. And I was just going for camps. And you basically lived at the training center the year before the Olympics, right before the Olympics. You basically lived there. You're there all the time. They might send you home for what, a week, 2 weeks, then you come back. I know how it goes because I was on the team. I wasn't an Olympian, but I was on the team, and I know what it takes. A lot of dedication. It's going to be a lot of lonely nights, a lot of lonely days, and you just have to want it within yourself. If you don't want it within yourself, your coach can want it, your parents can want it. It takes a lot of dedication for a boxer to be away from their city, their family, their friends, and to train with people who you probably fought their friend, fought their gym mate, fought their girlfriend, anybody, I don't know. You know how it goes, and it could be an awkward situation, but you have to realize that you're there to handle business and business only. It can definitely get lonely at the training center. Baby Top, I know you got questions for Jennifer. I don't want to hog the whole interview. You can get right into it.
All right. With my first question, how do you prepare for a fight, including diet and physical conditioning?
Physical conditioning, we actually have a coach here that takes care of that. And like, you know, I'm on a different program. I always ask him what I want more of. So I always ask him for extra cardio, especially because of the elevation out here. You know, it's very high, and I'm from, you know, below sea level. There's like no mountains, you know, it's just plain desert, you know, and like it's just super dry. So for me, like, I know I need that, and I want to push my body to its limits all the time. So I'm always asking for extra work and just extra cardio, um, a little bit of weights, not too much, just because like for me it's more about my lungs, because the speed, the power, I know I have it, get me, and I know I can work on it, but I don't need too much of it. So I just need my conditioning to be at tip top shape. Because if you don't have conditioning, as soon as your lungs go out, oh man, like that's it. It's only a 3 minute fight. Get me 3 rounds, 3 minutes. That's it. That's all you get, and there's no going back. And they go by like this, you know.
Yep.
So you can be in there, and 30 seconds later, but really like 9 minutes later, because of the fight, you're out. The decision is made, and that's it. You can't go back. So you
Yep.
have to be ready. You have to be willing to give it your all and everything. And the way I prepare as well is I study fights. I study old fights. I study my sparrings from back at home. I talk to my coach on a daily and ask him, you know, like, I've been looking like this. I'm gonna send you some sparrings from you know, from the last time I went to England or the last time I went to Europe and stuff like that, and tell me what I need to work on. And, you know, he'll send me pointers and stuff like that. And like, we'll work together, even though we're at a distance. So we'll be communicating that as well with the coaches here. You know, I'll be asking them constantly, like, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? We'll also be doing a lot of film study here to perfect the smallest of things. Get me? Because the more you focus on the bigger things, the more you're gonna realize like it's the small things that really matter that you gotta perfect. Get me?
Yep.
So that's where, you know, it just becomes repetitive to a point where it's just muscle memory, and in a fight it just comes natural. Get me? So it's just about sometimes going back to basics in order to perfect that and just get better at it.
Man, Jennifer, I'm just sitting here listening to you. That's what it's going to take to make it. I tell you all the time, like, it's going to take that dedication. And I don't, coming from me, it just sounds like dad. Now you got an Olympian in front of you. You need to take heed. Like, it's not just about talent. You got to work harder than hard. I tell you this all the time. I hope that Jennifer telling you, like, can be like a different perspective. Like, she works hard, but I'm telling her, like, pain is temporary. It's temporary. At the end of the fight, at the end of a hard fight, you get out the ring, you're like, damn, I could go back in the ring. That's how you know it's temporary. It's here. You have to control this first. If you put the work in, if you put the work in and know that, hey, look, I can bite down and go get this, and you gotta put the work in though. You gotta put the work in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're fine. How do you train to handle different types of fighters?
So I consider myself like a very universal fighter. Like, it just depends who you have in front of you. You just gotta have a very smart, I guess, IQ when you get in there. You gotta know what you're dealing with. So me and my coach actually back at home, we train from within the first round of 3 minutes, within 30 seconds to like a minute, I have to know who I'm facing. Like, I just have to know. And if I don't, basically, like, my mindset is I'm already losing the fight. I'm down. Get me? So my coach and I, we perfect that instinct, that motion, that mindset, that within a minute and a half to a minute of the first round, I already have this person figured out to tip top. Like, I already know what they're gonna throw. I already know what I'm gonna feint. I already know if I'm gonna pressure. I already know if I've hurt her. So it's really just working on everything so you can be prepared for anything and everything, because anything can happen in boxing. Anything can happen. You can be down the first round and take it the next 2 rounds. Get me? You
Yep.
can never give up. You always have to step on your gas, and you have to be on your A game, because that's what you work so hard for. Get me? Like, all that pain, all that time, all that injury, all that soreness, like, that's what you work for. Because you can look super bad in sparring, but look as bad as you want in sparring, because that's not a fight. That's to perfect yourself and your errors in sparring for when your fight comes, so you can look flawless, so you can look great, so you can look amazing and strong and powerful. Get me? So it doesn't matter what you look like in sparring. Yeah, you'll have good sparrings, but you'll also have bad sparrings. And those sparrings matter. Every sparring matters, because you have to learn from each and every one of them in order to be on top. And you gotta be mentally, tough, because at the end of the day, like, everybody's, like, I'm more than sure your dad's told you, like, boxing 90% of the time is, all in the head, all mindset. Get me? And if you go in there nervous or not knowing who you're gonna face, yeah, it's gonna affect you. You just gotta be in there with confidence and ready to put it in, because you put in all that work. All that hard work is done. It's just time to show out and show up.
Right. Right. That's the same. Jennifer, let me ask you this question. I'm sorry to interrupt you again. What has been your toughest fight to date, inside the ring or outside the ring?
Definitely outside the ring. On the mental aspect, inside the ring, it's tough because it's like you can get so prepared. But I think my toughest fight inside the ring would be probably my Paris debut, because I had gotten COVID super unexpectedly. So fighting with fever and, that cough and that sickness, it wasn't my best performance. And, it was with somebody who I had already been in the ring with so many times for years. So
Yeah.
I knew who I was going up against, and it was just, and it was supposed to be like an easy fight for me. Get me? And so I was very disappointed in my performance and myself. And, it was hard to get over, but definitely I think the hardest fight I've had is outside the ring, because of my mental aspect. Because, like, if you're not ready mentally, whether you're nervous, whether your corner man is nervous, whether the energy, the vibe, your routine, whatever you have, something goes wrong, like, that will affect you in the ring. And, that's not speaking for everybody. Everybody's different. This is just speaking on my own personal opinion and my way. Now I've learned how to, like, manage that better and just, be present, be in the moment, and, trust my skills, trust my hard work, trust my camp, and trust everything that I've been doing. That's why I work the way I work, because I know at the end of the day, it's all going to pay off. Whether it's now or in a few months from now, it's going to pay off, because I trust everything that I've been doing, all the sacrifice, all the discipline, all my determination, and the dedication that I put into this, and, especially the sacrifice part. Everything I've literally sacrificed for this one moment, I know it's gonna pay off. And so I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I scream a lot, especially in the finals. I scream because not for cockiness or for show, for nothing. It just comes out so natural because I went through so much just in that freaking camp, just in that
Right.
small camp. I went through so much, and that's why. That's why, like, my emotion comes out, and for that belt, for that spot, for that final, for that medal, exactly for that reason is why I scream, and like where it all pays off.
So I definitely can relate to that. I definitely can relate to that. In was it April 2016, I fought for the number one contender fight to fight for the world title, and when I hit him, and he was falling so slow, and I just broke out and yelled like a yell like because this was years and years of hard work and camps and fights falling out and injuries and just bull crap with family, friends, just everything just came out before he even hit the ground.
Yeah.
Before he even hit the ground, I was yelling. Like I got everybody back in that. In that one punch, I got everything back times 1,000.
Oh
So I
yeah.
definitely can relate to that. I definitely can relate to that. Sorry for interrupting you again.
You're
Go
fine.
ahead.
Who were some of your biggest role models growing up?
Growing up, actually my mom, for one, my mom, my grandmother. In the boxing world, Jackie Nava, she's a Mexican, she's a former Mexican world champion. She was the first boxer I ever actually found out about, starting off my career. Me and my grandmother used to watch her fights on Azteca, Box Azteca, on Telenovisa, or on telenovelas and stuff, and would always watch, Noche de Box, and she would call me from her house in Mexico and like, hey, like turn on the TV, Jackie Nava's fighting and this and that, and I'd be like, yo, like okay, and we'd be there all 10 rounds, just watching them on the phone, So watching her like really inspired me because she fought a lot of machismo. She was one of the first pioneers in boxing for women's boxing in Mexico, and that really inspired me because I was like, dang, like she's standing up to all these men, who she's not selling tickets, she's not making that much money, and she just inspired me to lead women also in that aspect that you can do it. Get me? Like you are powerful, you have a voice, you can do this. Get me?
Yep.
And also Clarissa Shields, of course, because of her story and her history, everything, and how much she's changed women's boxing. Katie Taylor as well on the men's side. Canelo's definitely my top one.
Really, that's what's up.
Yeah. Manny, because of how humble he is and his style a little bit. Loma and Crawford. So
Who are some boxers you like to watch when you go to the tournaments?
I definitely like to watch Crawford, Canelo, and I what's his name?
No, like amateur boxing. Like when you go
Oh,
to the
amateur.
yeah,
So,
like when you go in December, who you gonna be watching?
oh, like just to go watch fights and stuff. Like,
Yep.
oh, dang. So usually, like, I'm really locked in. Like, I'm just there, for business and stuff, just
Oh,
focusing on
okay.
my stuff.
I respect that for
But
sure.
so I'm never at the fights. Like, you'll rarely see me at the fights if like we have like 3 days till I fight, 4 days. If I have a long break or whatever, like okay, you'll see me at the fights. But usually I'm never at the fights just because I'm so locked in. I'm either in my room or training, working on technique, cutting the last few ounces, whatever it is. But I watch the fights from like the live, and I watch my girl Ulicia. From Cali. I'll be watching you too, girl, and then I'll be tuning in for like any upcoming generations that I just see. I'll just turn on the link and I'll be like, okay, like let me see what these girls got. I want to see what this generation has and stuff like that. And if someone stands out to me, if some style stands out to me, I'll be like, yo, like, dang, she got potential. Dang,
That's
like
what's
standing
up.
out. So yeah, like I'm excited to see the new talent, these upcoming generations as well as like because boxing's changed from when I started to now. These little girls are way better than what I was when I started. Like
Yeah.
style's crazy, man. So I just can't wait for the future, for their future, and for them to continue going.
Yes, man. The girls, just in the 4 years Baby Top has been boxing, it has changed. The first year we went to Silver Gloves, we didn't know that many girls box. We were like, oh man, there's girls everywhere. But then the more and more and more, like, it's becoming a more popular sport with the females.
Yeah,
It's
for sure. And
more.
it's grown. It's grown tremendously because I remember when I started, it was hard to get fights. I remember traveling hours and hours and hours, from Laredo to Atlanta, from Laredo to Ohio or wherever. And
Yeah.
we'd get there and it was like, oh, unopposed, but it was like, dang, no way. Like, there's nobody here. Like, you couldn't give me a call. And it was like, well, we had somebody, but, she didn't show up. And it was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, well, okay, but all my teammates would always get rack up all these fights, and I'd be like,
Yep.
damn, like I'm still stuck at this fight, dude. Like I,
Right.
I just can't rack up fights. But the more I grew, like by my teenage years, like that's when women's boxing started like really picking up and stuff like that. Especially like 8-year-olds, peewees and stuff like that. I was like, yo, there's a lot of kids now, dude.
It's
Like,
a
dang,
lot
like
of kids.
it's
Are you done?
definitely picked up.
It's a lot of kids. All right, so let's go back. So you punch your ticket the to Paris. What is that like? I'm talking about as soon as you get off the plane and you land in Paris, you have media, you have media day, you have your parents there, you may have friends. How is it when you get to Paris?
So actually, we didn't do any interviews. We were cut off from interviews early. We only had like I think like 2 months before we actually left to Paris to have a gap where reporters could come over here to the training center to ask us whatever they had to ask us from some time period to a time period, and then after that it was like, okay, no more interviews, no more reporters, nothing like
Oh,
that. So by the time we got to Paris, it was like we didn't get any interactions with anybody, nothing like
wow.
that. So it was really like that because we were so locked in because they didn't want us getting distracted, nothing like that. The media part mostly came after our fights from Paris. Like that's when we had to go through media, and we went through like Telemundo, Televisa, whoever, like NBC and stuff like that. But that's every fight. Internationally, you always go through media after every fight, especially a big tournament. You always go through media. So, but besides that, like we didn't really do too many interviews or anything like that. We had a camp in Germany, and even in Germany, like we didn't do interviews, we didn't get outreach, we didn't do any of that. But other countries did, which was great, for them. But I can't tell you how it would be for us because we didn't have that opportunity.
Okay. Well, you did have an opportunity to get on the boat,
Yeah, yeah.
for opening ceremony. How was that? Because I seen your face, but I can't tell you how you felt. How did you feel?
That was surreal. That was probably my favorite part out of the entire, Olympics. Opening ceremony was my favorite part that till this day I just can't forget. Like it was just so surreal being on that boat with not just regular high school athletes or college D1 athletes. No, it was the best of the best in the entire world who worked just as hard as I did to be on that boat, if not even more. You had NBA players, you had soccer players, you had gymnasts, you had fencers, swimmers, rowers. You had all these athletes, every athlete possible, track stars, everybody on that same boat, just talking to everybody, you know. And it was just so surreal. I just would have never imagined how a little girl who grew up in Laredo, Texas, to be on that boat with LeBron James, with
Yeah.
Simone Biles, with Sha'Carri Richardson. Like, I would have never, if I could tell this to my 10-year-old self right now, like, bro, like, we're going to the Olympics, she'd probably laugh in my face like, you're crazy. Like, what are the Olympics? Like, and it was just so surreal. And that's exactly what I thought of that entire time. Like, I was just thinking of little me the entire time. Like, damn, like, we did this. Like, I did this. Like, everything freaking paid off. Like, every time I cried, every time I lost, every setback I had, every injury I had, every problem I had, everything, just everything that I personally went through paid off in that moment. and it just sunk in.
That's what's up. That's what's up. It looked like to me. That's what I wanted you to say. It looked like you were like, "Damn, I'm here. Like this is
Yeah.
crazy." Like that's the look you had. Cause I seen it and I'm just like, she looked like she can't believe it. Even being on the boat, like you were looking like it's like I
Yeah.
love this. Like it was crazy. And then you got LeBron and all them on that. That's
Man,
just crazy.
what? And I'm only
It's
like 5'2.5", so imagine I was like a little pulga next to him, man. I was like a little flea just next to him. He was
yeah,
huge, man. Like he was
yeah.
huge.
It's great. You were taller. You were taller than Simone Biles, though.
Yeah, yeah. Like she was cool. She was cool. You know.
Yeah.
Who was like a few of your favorite people that you met on the boat?
Definitely. Sha'Carri Richardson, Simone, and Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry. I'd say LeBron, but I didn't interact with him too
Thank
much.
you
You know,
so
I
much,
think he's spoiled,
Ulysses.
but
Thank you so much.
Stephen Curry was down to earth, super humble. He was always with us, talking to everybody on that boat, chit chatting it up. He was such a cool dude. So definitely Stephen Curry is definitely one that I'll never forget.
Oh wow, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
man. Listen, I'm sitting here. I've been in boxing my whole life. I learned how to walk in a boxing gym. To talk to an Olympian that did the same sport that I did, it's a treat for me because you experienced something I never experienced. And a lot of people will never experience what you experienced. It's just a token to yourself and to your hard work. Like you bust your butt to get there. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm happy for you, and it already passed. Like I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you got to experience something like that because I experienced things that people will never experience. You experienced something that millions of people have dreamed about. And that's just a testament in its own. I'm just sitting here just like, wow. Like when I sat and when I looked at you on that boat, I said, man, she looking like wow. Like you were looking and it was cool. Like everybody was on there partying. Like y'all are having fun, but like I don't know. It was just real. It was nice for me to see you in that light. It was nice for me to see you in that light.
Nah, I appreciate you. I appreciate that because really, like, that's really what it felt like. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And even on that boat, like, I pulled up a picture because, I was recording, and this and that. And oh my gosh, and then it started raining and it became super chaotic. Like, everybody's phones were getting wet and this and that. But then I was like, wait, let me put my phone down and let me just let this sink in. And that's
Yeah.
when, tears just fell and I was just crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm here. Like, I'm here. And just who would have thought. And I remember opening my phone and just looking at a picture from my family and of me when I was a kid, when I was real chubby and stuff. And I was like, damn, man, like, we made it. Like, we're here. Like, who would have thought that this kid from Laredo who was bullied, who had to hide who she was, and like, had this accident, would always fight in the street and this and that, is now here representing not just the US but Laredo and kids, back at home who are watching this right now, giving them that opening in their minds that, hey, it's a possibility. Like, if she can do
Right.
it, I can do it. Get me?
Right.
So, and I take to heart representing my city to heart, especially where I'm from the South Side. Like, I represent that with a passion because
Yeah.
making it out is hard, and the way the South Side represented, like, it's tough, so I want to give light to that and give, kids an aspect that you don't have to be what others depict you or make you out to be or say that you are. You can just do what you want to be. You choose your life. You choose how you want to depict it, how you
Right.
want to live your life, and your journey and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, you write your story.
True. I got a question for you. What is your biggest takeaway from competing internationally?
My biggest takeaway is definitely starting off fast and being smart. Definitely, and you gotta take that first round, and you like, especially being on hometown or home countries waters, you gotta be ready for the entire crowd to be against you, especially the judges. So you gotta make sure that every punch, every slip, every roll, every shot lands and is beautifully land. You know, you gotta take advantage of every shot possible.
Yes.
True.
I, listen, hey Jennifer, I just can't say it enough. I'm so glad that you're having this interview and speaking to my daughter. Like, it's like she wants it. She works hard, but I tell her like, working hard is just average. Working hard is average. You have to work harder than hard. You have to work when they're not working. You can just. I will go to sleep. I would go to sleep sometimes and dream boxing, dream fights. Wake up, go to sleep. I had boxing on my mind all the time. All the time. That has to be your main focus. Has to be your main focus. And I tell her that all the time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
True. I got another question. Was there a specific moment when you realized the Olympics was like a real goal for you?
Yeah, I actually, so I didn't know how the Olympics worked, but I know like in 2016, um, Rio was about to happen and I was already saying it, like, I'm going to the Olympics, like, I'm going to the Olympics. Mind you, I'm like 15, 14 at this point
What's
or whatever,
up?
so I can't even literally go, right? But I was saying, like, I'm going to the Olympics. I remember, like, they interviewed me and this and that, because nobody in Laredo really knew how it worked. I just remember Googling, like, how old do you have to be to the Olympics to go to the Olympics? I remember that time it was like 16 or 15, but for gymnastics or something. So it wasn't
Yeah.
even the right sport. Get me? Like,
I was about to
I
say,
was just
what?
Googling. Yeah, yeah. So I Googled, and I was like, oh man, like, I'm going to the Olympics. Like, what? So I remember telling everybody, like, I'm going. And people started calling me crazy. Like, man, you from the South Side. Like, you from Laredo. Like, you just a girl. Like, you not going nowhere. Like, da-da-da. And then I was like, I'm going to the Olympics. And I remember they interviewed me. And I still have the newspaper right there in my house where it says, like, Lozano, road to the Olympics, 2016, like, this and that. And I remember it became this kind of big deal, but not too much. Because I guess people did end up doing their research. And they were like, girl, like, you're too young. Like, but I had a goal. I had that mindset, and ever since, like, I was just like, I'm going to the Olympics, bro. Like, I'm just going. I'm going, and I still didn't know the process at that time because me and my coach were just like, we just have to win. We have to win to get, USA Boxing's attention, like, to get invited to a camp. Like, we just have to win and win and win without realizing, like, okay, dude, like, you have to be an elite to get invited because that's where it matters. The elites is where it mostly matters. That's where you're going to go international. That's where you go to the Olympics. That's where you have your world championships. That's where you have your rankings. That's where you have your top dogs. And so everything was just experience. Everything was just learning. Everything was just getting ready and prepared for that moment without me truly realizing. And so um, I just remember, like, saying it and people, making fun of me, calling me crazy and this and that, but I was set. Like, my heart, my mind, it was set. And it was until years later that I realized, like, oh my God, like, I was talking crazy, bro. Like, what? And so, like, I realized, like, oh my gosh, dude, like, but yeah, like, me and my coach, we trained, we won. We were in different weight classes, we were in every division, we were just, sweeping and, going and going and going. And, like, with sweeping came losses, and with losses came more losses. And, but we never backed down. We never were like, oh, like, yeah, I lost. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Like, no. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm not the best anymore. Like, no, it's like, okay, like, I'm going to show you that I'm the best. Like, okay, you got the
Right.
best of me today, but I'm going to show you again who I am. Like, at the
Right.
end of the day, like, I work hard, and yeah, I'm not always going to have the best performance, but I'm going to show you when it matters that I'm top dog, and I'm going to show you who I am.
That's
And
what's
so
up.
that's just how it is.
I mean, that's what's up.
That's a great mindset to have.
Great mindset, right? Let me ask you a question. How did Laredo embrace you when you got back from the Olympics?
Oh man, what?
I
I'm
know
not
that
even
goes.
gonna lie to you. Like, I was so disappointed in my performance and in Paris and everything. I was so depressed, like, real bad. I was embarrassed to get back home. I was so embarrassed. My phone was blowing up for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe in a month. Nonstop messages of, like, interviews and this and that. But I was in a very, like, dark hole at that time that I was just like, man, like I don't want to answer nothing or anything. So I wasn't on my phone. I literally turned off my phone. Like on the flight from when I left Paris till I got home, my phone was off. So I finally got to Houston or Dallas, and then from there, like that was my shot to go to Laredo. And I remember turning on my phone, and my coach called me, and I was on the flight. But my coach called me like, hey, like how are you? And I was like, man, like I'm not even feeling it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I feel like such a disappointment. Like I feel like nobody's even gonna be at the airport. Like so embarrassing. Like I went and did all that for what? Like da da da. And I remember being on the plane, and about 30 minutes before we landed, you know, I had service. So my coach calls me and is like, yo, like are you okay? And I was like, I'm good. She was like, good, because there's so many people here, dude. Like, you have no idea. Just be prepared. So I was like, no
What?
way, dude. I was like, all right, bro. Like, it's probably my family and y'all. Like, all right. So I'm just like, still not believing it. I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. So whatever, I hang up and I'm there. And as soon as I land, you know, I'm okay. Me, like, I know I seem like very talkative and super open, but really, like, I'm very shy. Like, I'm very shy. I'm very to myself and like to my people. If you know me, like, you know the real me, but stuff like that. So when I get home, I see all these mariachis. I see like my high school band. I see the mayor. I see
What?
all these people from who traveled from like San Antonio, from Houston, just to Laredo, from the Valley, who came to Laredo just to come and see me and greet me, and all these kids and
That's
flashes
big.
and news reporters. And you know, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe how many people. The airport was stacked and full and hot because of how everybody's body heat and everything. Like it was very surreal to see that amount of support, especially after, you know, the way I was feeling and the way I thought about my performance and everything. I was like, yo, like, dang, like, and especially after hearing like Laredo's first ever Olympian, like male or female from any sport, like I was like, oh crap, like I just made history, like let
Right.
that sink in, girl, like give yourself credit. And I was like, yo, like, oh my god, like I did this, bro, like oh my goodness. And so like it felt good to just have that support despite like everything the way it went down and stuff like that. And I even have reporters from Mexico, and I even had interviews in Mexico, and so that felt good too.
That's crazy.
Dang,
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Like just to get off the plane and like just that's crazy. Like man, you just taking me back so much. I felt the same way when I lost my world title fight. I didn't go outside for like 2 months. My
Yeah.
wife was my wife was like, man, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't go outside and face nobody. Like I was going into restaurants, I was eating free. I'm getting called here, getting called there. Then when I lost, it's like, damn, I let myself down, I let everybody down. But the first time I came out, I fought July 30th. I'm lying, it was a month. I come out August 25th, my birthday, and I go into a grocery store. And somebody notices me. It's like, man, you a dog, bro. And I'm like, huh? It's like, bro, like you a dog, bro. Like keep it up. Like don't let that. And I was like, okay, well, that's one person. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
but it got me more. You know, it kind of eased me out a little bit. Um, I'm gonna start wrapping up the interview. So with one being the lowest and 10 being the highest, where does Jennifer Lozano rank in that aspect for trying to compete for the 2028 Olympics?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was the ranking? I'm sorry, repeat that. I'm sorry.
All right, one being the lowest,
Uh-huh.
10 being the highest. Where would Jennifer Lozano put herself at on the scale for her competing in the 2028 Olympics? Like
Oh,
your
10,
answer.
11. Matter of fact, 11. There's nothing stopping me from going to LA 28 for sure and being on that
So it
podium,
ain't
like a
going
thousand
pro.
percent.
You staying for sure.
Yeah, yeah, like for sure, a
Oh, that's
thousand
what's
percent. I'm going
up.
to 28. Ain't nothing stopping me for sure.
That's what's up. That's
That's
I
what's
got a
up.
cool.
story to
Hey, we
prove, and I
got
got
it. I
something to
gotta
prove,
give
not
it.
just to
That's
people,
what's
but to
up.
myself, and that I'm not just good, but I'm great, and I'm going out there for LA 28 for sure to
Did
show that, to
you
prove that to
did
myself.
you ever contemplate turning pro?
Yeah, so actually, before getting the call for Team USA the very first time, like I remember I was already gonna go pro. The contract was there, you know, manager, everything, promoter. Um, and I remember I was on a streak for 2 years. I was undefeated, you know, 2 years from 119, 125, and the lowest was like 114 that I had fought, I think. But, I hadn't lost. And so me and my coach were like, USA Boxing never called us. Let's just go pro already. Let's wrap it up. So we closed down our gym. We got rid of our like team. My coach focused on me strictly. And finally, we were saying like, all right, like December's going to be our last national. We're already announcing it. Like, we're already going to turn pro, this and that. And probably as soon as I have fought once, I got fight of the tournament and I got like $500 from that. And we want to go pick up the trophy because we forgot it. Like, we literally just went to handle business and we left and we didn't even know we got the fight of the day. Like, we just dipped off. And so our friend called us like, hey, man, like, y'all got fight of the tournament, like a prize money. And we're like, oh, okay, like, we'll meet up. So whatever, we go pick it up. As we're heading back home, we were supposed to take a break because we had been training for, like, since the beginning of the year. This is already, like, August, September. Or no, it was, like, June, August. Ooh, yeah, somewhere there. Or July, August. And I get a call from the coordinator here, but at that time I was getting a bunch of spam calls on my phone and I was just declining and like, oh my god, like all these spam calls. So all of a sudden I got a Colorado Springs number call me and I was like, man, who is this? Like, and I was so close to hanging up, so close, but something told me like, nah, just answer. So I answer and I'm not even paying attention. I'm like, hello, thinking it's gonna be like another spam call, but they're like, hey, like, this is Derek with USA Boxing, da-da-da, we're inviting you for a camp, da-da-da, like, we've seen your talent, da-da-da, we want you to come out here for selection. And I was like, oh, and he's giving me all this information, but I completely blacked out at, like, USA Boxing, that they wanted me, the camp, and this and that. I completely missed out the entire information. I'm just in shock. And I remember being like, oh, shit, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, oh, snap, like, oh, my God, like, dang.
Nah, you good,
So,
you good. Right,
I
that's
was
what's
like,
up.
oh, snap,
You
like,
good.
no way, right? So I was like, what the hell? My coach is like, hey, like, whoa, like, get, like, what's going on? What's going on? Tell me. So I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, you're gonna have to repeat that again because I'm so sorry. Like, I wasn't paying attention. And so he laughs and he just tells me everything again. And he's like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna email you. Like, what's your email? I give it to him. Whatever. I give him my coach's information. Hang up. And I look at my coach and I'm like, bro, that was Juice Boxing. And he was like, oh, we're not signing no contract. Like, we're going. Like, screw that. We're going straight into camp. And screw the break. We went straight into another camp by ourselves. And I went to a selection camp. And that's the where story and her journey began. Like, and it was hard just to get on the team, just to get here where I am today. Was hard. Like, it wasn't no easy path. Oh, they just gave me a car and like now I'm here. Like, no, like, it was a process. It was like step back plus step back plus step back that I had to like go through in order to get here. And it's like you said, how bad do you really want it? Are you willing to take those losses in order to keep moving forward and prove to yourself that you are that guy, that you are that girl, that you really got that in you? So, yeah, like,
Hey,
that's when
hey,
I was like,
listen,
yeah, I'm gonna just go to the Olympics.
that's what's up. Hey, listen, we got Jennifer Lozano from Laredo, Texas, 2024 Olympian, inspiring to be 2028 Olympian. Hey, if you're not following Jennifer Lozano, make sure you're following Jennifer Lozano. Make sure you're following Raised in the Ring. We are the future of amateur boxing. Once again, Jennifer Lozano out of Laredo, Texas. Man, it's been a treat, man. You don't understand how this helped me. I'm pretty sure it helped my daughter and some other inspiring young boxers on here. Jennifer, hey, man, it's been a treat. We definitely appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule at the training center. Jennifer, take us home. Give any encouraging young words to anyone who's looking to be where you are, looking to be where you've been to the Olympics. And just tell them and be honest with them. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
I'd definitely say, like, trust the process, trust the timing, because just because you lose once, twice, three times, it don't mean it's over. That's just because it's not your time yet. And that's because that's God testing you to see how bad you really want it. How bad are you really gonna dedicate and sacrifice what you gotta do for this? How bad do you really want to be great? Do you just want to be good and average, or do you want to be abnormal and great? Outstand and stand with everybody else and outwork everybody else as well. But you gotta be willing to fall, but not just fall, but learn and get back up and keep working. You gotta be willing to put in that work, even on this, especially on the days that you don't want to or when you have to. Cause don't get me wrong, I'm an Olympian, but there's days where I'm like, damn, like I got practice, like,
Right.
dang, but I still gotta get up and do it, and I gotta do it, not just like half-ass it, but I gotta do and put everything I got in it, because at the end of the day, I know halfway across the world, there's somebody who's just as tired and working twice as hard as me, so I can't let this person get the upper hand. Get me? So always think that just because you're tired, somebody else is just as tired as you are and still working another round, still working twice as hard. Get me? So keep that in mind. Never think like, oh, like I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Nah, like always put yourself as an underdog and stay hungry. Stay hungry for what you want and stay true to yourself and have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun. Because if you're not having fun, there's no point. Because when I was young, I was just angry, 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 angry all the time that I would lose focus, and it wasn't fun. So as long as you keep having fun throughout the process and you trust your guts, you trust your work and your work ethic and everything's gonna come into place.
Man, Jennifer, you don't know how much I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. You are coming to Lubbock, correct?
Correct.
Man, we pulling up. We
For
pulling up.
sure, for sure. I hope I see you out there, man.
Man, we pulling up. We pulling up. When you fighting, we pulling up. If
Okay.
if she got to fight the next thing, she fight in the morning. So she got to
Okay.
fight. I'm pulling up.
Oh
I'm,
yeah, for
and
sure.
I'm,
You fine? I'm gonna definitely tune in. I'm
I'm
definitely tuning in for
Hey,
sure.
I'm gonna make sure I got my Raised in the Ring shirt, because you like, man, who's that walking up to me like that, bro? Who this big
Yeah, because
dude?
sometimes I'll be like, oh my god, like I don't even know you, but like, yeah, no, yeah.
Hey, I'm definitely gonna have my Raised in the Ring shirt on. I'm be like, Jennifer, this top. You be like, oh yeah, what's up? So I'm definitely going, hey, listen, I hope you have a great rest of the night, great rest of camp. Train hard, train smart. It's been a treat. And we're gonna see you in Lubbock in December. Hey, signing out, y'all got 2024 Olympian Jennifer Lozano from Laredo, Texas. First ever Olympian from Laredo, Texas. So make sure you put some respect on her name. Put some respect on Laredo.
Thank you
Thank you
so
guys.
Jennifer,
much.
thank you so much. You have a good night, okay?
Thank you guys so much, and I'll be tuning in for that fight. I promise y'all.
Hey,
Same
thank you.
here.
See you
Thank you
soon,
so much.
Jennifer.
Thank y'all. Have a good
All right,
night.
love. Are you too?